Hi guys, Ed here. In this video I'm going to go over the importance of how to utilize a stop level to your advantage. How it's important to make sure that you have a plan in place. You'll see that these stocks, when they hit key levels of support, regardless of it being labeled a stop, will bounce. Sometimes, depending on momentum, they will stretch past. And if you make sure that you size appropriately, risk appropriately, and have your plan in place, you'll be able to withstand that little bit of a stretch. You'll also see that in this market, these stocks will test and retest and give you confirmation. And if it doesn't, and it just takes off on you, so what? What's the worst that happens? You didn't lose any money? It's all about account building and account preservation. You don't need a home run every time. But without further ado, let's get into the trade.
We called an entry level of 69.86 down to 67 with a stop in place of a confirmed break of the 67. Before I go any further, I need a lot of you to understand that a stop level is still a valid place to take a trade and not some arbitrary number we make up, guys. You will throw a lot of valid plays away doing that. So those of you that are doing it, you have to cut that shit out. Just because we color code a level in red or we say it's a stop does not mean it's not valid and not an area that you can't take a trade. If it gives you an opportunity, take the trade, because sometimes the lower the better, or the higher the better, depending on the play. So just stop doing that, because you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Anyway, I digress. So first thing in the morning, it opened up under the 69.86 and did a straight shot into 67, where it did bounce, right? You could see there's support there, but the market gapped up in the morning and it started pulling back a little bit. Now with this trade, you have two choices. You can either take the trade coming into the level, or you could sit back and wait for confirmation. If you decided to take the trade coming into the level, you have to give it a little bit of breathing room, taking into account that it has a float of 14 million and did a solid run into the level. Keeping in mind, stretching past the level is a real possibility. You just size down a little bit and use what we refer to as standard risk, which is part of the strategy taught at Tricktrades.com. And trust me, a lot of Tricktrades members that are Revolution Swing members were prepared for this and smoked the entry and didn't get stopped out. You don't want to use a lot of size, guys. It's a swing play. You let the range pay you. If you need to add in, you could do it in small pieces to get a good average, making sure you stay within your predetermined level of risk. You don't go for the gusto, leaving nothing in the chamber for round two. Now, let's say you didn't do that, or you don't have the ability to take a large position to, average in, and it freaked you out and you got stopped out. Well, don't disregard the entire play. Just sit back and wait to see what it does. If you were waiting for confirmation to take this trade instead of taking the trade into the level on this straight run, or you got freaked out and you were looking for a reset, it gave it to you guys. It remounted the 67 and then put in multiple higher lows. And then on the next day, it remounted this level and tested multiple times. Now here, if you averaged in at lows, from highs to lows, you had over 13 points on the table. And then from the confirmation here to highs, you had over 12 points. Now, let's say you didn't do anything on this day. Well, it remounted this level here and held this level. As you can see, it tested it 3 times. And if you decided to take the trade here and maybe risk off of, this point here, you had over 9 stress-free points to highs on this trade. And all you had to do was just take the trade, sit back and relax, and collect your profits, guys.
Well, hopefully you liked the video, guys, and hopefully you learned something. But these two want to hit the park and run like the wind. And remember, like Pat always says, you're just one trade away. So if you want to learn to be a badass trader, head to Tricktrades.com. And if you want to take some powerful swing plays, head to RevolutionSwing.com. So until next week, this is Ed signing off.